Hi, everyone. Let's talk about NXT from July 28th, which was a great show. Let's talk about it, guys. So we got Grayson Waller hijacking the NXT broadcast, which was amazing. I'm telling you guys, this was amazing to start the show. I'll tell you. He was talking about how the women, outform more than the guys, and so on and so forth. Let's talk about it, anyways. So Grayson Waller says he has made his main roster debut at Madison Square Garden and became a tag team champion shortly after, but says he knows it wasn't his worth ethic, and he powders. I'll say it again. He powders pounders. Also, again, he pounders whether he didn't politic enough backstage, and says he spent a long time carrying Austin Theory on his back, and that he said he spent the last years of his career being sad about a farewell with New Day, and he says the iconic of that was the only thing dying was his career, but says it's now a new day. And Grayson Waller says he's in the best shape and hungrier than ever, then says has to conquer some demons to get to where he should be, and says there's one price he's never got, the NXT championship, and says that that title is the gateway to the future, and calls out Tony D'Angelo, then says he'll send him back home to his baby, and a crew member tells Grayson Waller to wrap up, but Grayson Waller continues on and tells Shawn Michaels to send out one of his guys, and he says he used to be a Shawn Michaels guy, then calls out the NXT, guys, male roster, and says the male roster on NXT used their social media to gain clout with the women of Orlando, and he says the energy gets sick out of the room when the start to talk, and says he knows that there are plenty of people in the back looking at Shawn Michaels as he panics, and says that Shawn Michaels knows deep down that what he's saying is true, that promises to walk into NXT and takes the NXT championship. Then Grayson Waller's microphone cuts out, but Waller gets close to the camera and says he doesn't need a microphone, and he tells WWE to concern their cage rattle, but the camera cuts to black interruptedly, and that's what happened there. Then we had Lizzie Rain Fence's Easy Dame with Nico Fence, which was a fun match. Great talent between these two women. Let's talk about it, though. So the bell rings and the two lock up, and Dane levels Rain with a clothesline, then sends her crashing into the mat first and rolls her up, and Dane kicks out, but Rain sends Dane crashing out of the ring and looks to land a drop kick on her through the ropes, and Dane runs over Rain with a big boot, then dumps her back in the ring and levels her with a shoulder block during the break. Then Dane sends Rain crashing into the mat face first and wears her down with a crossface, but Rain powers up to her feet and fires off chomps on her, and Rain lands a kick on Dane's head from the ring apron back from the break and ascends to the top rope, and then delivers a missile drop kick on Dane and delivers a suplex on her, and Dane fires off forearms on Rain, but Rain rolls up Dane, and Dane kicks out and fires back right hands on Rain onto the outside, but Rain sends Dane crashing into the ring steps as the ref beats a 10 count, and Rain dumps Dane back in the ring and joins her in there to break the count. And then Dane delivers a knee strike and a crucifix bomb to Rain, then goes for a pin, but Rain kicks out, and Dane levels Rain with a clothesline and runs her over with a boot, but Rain delivers a cutter and ascends up to the ropes, and Nico Fence hops up on the apron to distract Rain, opening the door for Easy Dane to run over Lazy Rain with a big boot. Then Sean Spears up behind Nico Fence onto the outside and threatened to hit him with a chair as Easy Dame is distracted by Sean Spears, and Rain takes advantage and delivers a thunderstruck on her for the win, and that's how Lazy Rain defeated Easy Dame, and that's what happened there. Then we head backstage where Nunandor and Rombo Morneau chats with Mike Santana, Cruz Montana, whatever you want to call him, but I call him Mike Santana, to formally welcome him to NXT. And Daquan Kroger approaches them, but Door apologized to him for taking the loss to Dark State, Dark State last Tuesday. And Daquan makes to clear there's no hard feelings, but Jordan then approaches Santana to claim that the NXT is a bad working environment, and she begins to vent about how she's been screwed time and time again. But Mike Santana walks over and walks off. Mike Santana walks off, and Jordan says he'll fit in just fine, not listening to her like everyone else. And that's what happened there with Kalani Jordan and Mike Santana. Then we head over to Robert Stone's office where Varsity Projects complain about having to defend their NXT Tag Team Championships against Miles Bourne and Devon Heights and Miles Bourne retains his North American Championship, and Carver crashes the meeting and causes Varsity Projects to leave and telling Robert Stone all he wants is a match against EK next week, and Robert Stone agrees. Then we had Cam Hendrick made his way to the ring back from the break, and Jada Parker and Thea Hill bound into the women's locker room, and Thea Hill informs Jada Parker that they will be tagging next week against Nikita Lyons and Carmen Pazagovic. And when Parker shows that she's happy about doing so next week, and Thea Hill hugs her, and that's what happened there. Then we had Miles Bourne faces Cam Hendrick for the North American title, which was a fun match between these two guys. And like I said, I like that newcomer from, LFG, Cam Hendrick, so let's carry on and talk about it, guys. So the bell rings and the two lock up, and Cam Hendrick wears down Miles Bourne's arm, but Miles Bourne sends Cam Hendrick crashing into the mat and drop kicks and Cam Hendrick out of the ring, and he flies over to the top rope to take out Cam Hendricks onto the outside, but Cam Hendrick sent Miles Bourne crashing into the ring apron and repeatedly face first during the break. Then Miles Bourne clotheslines Cam Hendrick onto the outside, but the two men get back inside the ring, and Miles Bourne repeatedly sends Cam Hendrick's face bouncing off the turnbuckle, and Cam Hendricks fires off right hands on Miles Bourne and wears him down with a submission hold, then levels him with a spike and a clothesline to the back of his neck. Then Miles Bourne levels Cam Hendrick with a pair of clotheslines and a back body drop, and then a drop kick Cam Hendricks on out of the outside of the ring, then gets him back inside. Then we see Manson Rooks watching the action from backstage and leaves as Devon Heights follows him, and then appears, spills into the ring side area. Then Heights stops Mason Rooks from essentially allowing Cam Hendricks to land the Showtime kick on Miles Bourne and goes for the pin, and Miles Bourne kicks out and connects with Miles Bourne again on Cam Hendrick for the win, and that's how Miles Bourne retained his North American title over Cam Hendrick. Then, after the match, Cam Hendrick and Mason Rook brawled away from the inside area as Varsity Projects attacked Ricky Smoke and Brad Baylor next, challenging for the NXT Tag Team Championships, and Bourne and Heights get the better of Varsity Projects and sent them crashing out of the ring. Then we head over to Robert Stone's office where the Women's North American Championship, Saraya I'll say it again. Saraya and the women's speed champion Ren Sinclair want to know who their next challengers, and Stone informs Wen Sinclair that will be defending her title against Saraya next week if she retains, and she can have a shot at so you know Saraya's title in return. So yes, guys, like I was saying, Soraya. So yeah, what's your guys' thoughts of her and the title, the North American title and stuff, the women's title that she had and stuff? So put your thoughts on that as well and stuff. I can't wait for Heat Wave. So that's going to be on the 30th, I believe, on the same day as All In. So, like I said again, guys, put your thoughts on the women there and stuff with that. With Soraya, so yeah, Soraya and all of that stuff with Winston Clear and all that speed title stuff and all of that jazz and North American title, Soraya and all of that. So then we had OTM fences birthrights, which a lot of people crapped on this. I liked it. I don't care. I have my own opinion. So Price and Connor begin the action, and the bell rings, and the two go back and forth, and Bronco and Lorenzo tag in, but OTM dumps Stacks over the top rope and onto King, and Dempsey and Connor onto the outside, and Price delivers a clothesline to Stacks into the corner during the break, but Bronco tags in and lands a backbreaker on Stacks, and then he looks to land a kick on Stacks, but Connor pulls Stacks on out of the way from the outside of the ring, and then Stacks wears down Bronco with a submission hold, but Connor tags back in and delivers a suicide bomb to Bronco back from the break. Then go original one pretty more cooler because there's a lot of memory with that one. So yes, guys, even though the current one is pretty cool with Carmen and Bronco and some other people, in that group. I believe Garcia too, and all kinds of great stuff. So put your thoughts on that as well, guys. So then we had Shallow Hill fences Christian Angels. This match was fine, for my opinion. It was fine. I love both guys, but I like Shallow Hill better than Christian Angels. Christian Angels is pretty good too, but I think Shallow Hill is bigger priority than he is. But still, I like Christian Angels. So let's carry on. The bell rings, and Hill lands a shoulder breaker on Angels, and Angels sends Hill crashing into the middle turnbuckle and fires off an elbow onto the back of his neck. But Hill sends Angel's head bouncing off his knee, and Angels catches Hill with a hanging neck breaker off the ring apron, then lunges a sleeper hold on him inside the ring during the break, and Hill fights off Angel and rains down right hands on him, then delivers a body slam to him. Then the two men teeter on the rope, but Angels lands a superplex on Hill back from the break and goes for a pin, and Hill kicks out and powerbombs Angels onto the announce desk before he lands a super thunder breaker on Angels back inside the ring off the middle rope for the win, and that's how Thea Hill defeated Christian Angels. Then we hear from Mike Santana, Cruz Montana, which, Mike Santana, basically, everybody knows him as Mike Santana, and asked NXT what's good, and he says he's officially a WWE superstar, and he says there was a time he didn't think he would see another day of life, and says he came up in some of the toughest neighborhoods of New York City, the Bronx and all of that stuff, guys. And he says every day was a struggle and a fight to survive. Then says he made mistakes and he can't take back, and says he was mostly fighting himself. And he says he was either going to become another story or waste the potential of a father that is his daughter could be proud of. And Mike Santana says he reaches a selling and a tag team guide and was a losing streak and a battle with himself, but he started to win, and every step forward was him proving that he took advantage of a second chance, and he says he rebuilt his career one match in one city at a time, and he says he's not in NXT to fill a spot, but to take a spot as the new NXT champion. And Tony D'Angelo's music hits, and he makes his way out, and Tony D'Angelo welcomes Mike Santana to NXT and formally introduces himself to Mike Santana, then says he's seen some of the hottest few agents come to the ring, and says they'll win the NXT championship. And he says he believes that every word Mike Santana says except one thing, the spot he wants. And Grayson Waller appears out of nowhere as a brawl breaks out between Mike Santana and Grayson Waller and Tony D'Angelo. And Mike Santana looks to land a spin the block on Grayson Waller, but Grayson Waller ducks out of the way, and Mike Santana ends up hitting Tony D'Angelo, and Tony D'Angelo and Grayson Waller and Mike Santana then stared down one another in the ring as the show went off air. And I gave this show a 9 out of 10, guys. Like, NXT is like one of the best shows of WWE right now in AAA. Well, let's just forget about Raw and SmackDown and just rebuild some more better stories over there. But that's just my opinion on that. But yeah, guys, put your thoughts in about this heat wave. We're going to see tomorrow who it's going to be. That's the only match that I know of right now in heat wave is for the NXT title between Tony D'Angelo, or it's going to be between Grayson Waller or Mike Santana, which all of us think that it's going to be Mike Santana. So yeah, guys, that's going to be a great match. Mike Santana versus Tony D'Angelo. Put your thoughts on that, guys, as well and stuff. Yeah, I can't wait for that. Then there's potential of Kalani Jordan taking on the NXT Women's Champion Kendall Gray, or Kendall Gray taking on Armstrong. There's rumors out there about that as well, and all kinds of other stuff, but that's just rumors and speculations. But I don't know where that's going to go as well. There's other speculations of other matches. I know the platform is like 4 to 5 matches. So for right now, there's only like one match added. So yeah, put your thoughts on that as well, guys. So yeah, I can't wait for that. Like I said, again, I give this show a 9 out of 10. Don't forget to like the video. Like I said again, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit those notification bells as always, guys. And this is CJD 2006. I'll say again, this is CJD 2000. Excuse me. This is TJD. I'll say it again. This is CJD 2006. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit those notification bells as always, guys. And peace out and take care and much love. I'll say it again. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit those notification bells as always, guys. And much love and peace out and take care.